This might be the only time I've ever double dipped with no regrets. So Legend of the Seven Stars. This is one of those old guard RPGs that always finds a way to be brought up with reverence whenever there's a conversation about cool games from the 90s. And honestly, for good reason. Chrono Trigger might have been the peak of Square's married to Nintendo era, but this was like their literal swan song before the divorce. Super Mario RPG was so much more than a mere turn-based spin on Mario. This game was like a silly little slapstick comedy expressing itself through the RPG format. Nintendo and Square managed to pack in so much content that really fleshes the game out, and even details that reward you for going out of your way to find them beyond the main story. Overall, Super Mario RPG is one of those games where once you sit down and really get a feel of it, you can tell it was a labor of love. So when it was announced in 2023 that they were getting the band back together for a remake, well, at least I was enthusiastic about being able to finally convince my friends to try this game without sounding like a certain kind of witness. But Nintendo did as Nintendo does, cha-ching cha-ching, full price. So with a fully priced remake, I just kinda shrugged it off and stayed content with the original. And fast forward to the Big 25, between raising the full price of old Switch content and their latest anniversary edition offerings, I've kind of grown disenfranchised with picking up new games for my Switch. That is until one fateful trip to the game store, I find myself a heavily used copy of Super Mario RPG. So I finally decide to take a plunge on it, and man was I pleasantly surprised. Obviously they gave it a beautiful visual makeover. You know, usual bells and whistles of modernizing a game for a remake. But beyond the basics, it passes the vibe check of a good remake with flying colors, faithfully preserving everything that made the original great and expanding on it with more content in favor of rewriting it with cuts and omissions. Like that iconic sound design. All the same classic tracks, except they gave Yoko Shinomura's budget a limit break. And on that note, what properly sold me on this remake? The battle system. They kept the old one just as punchy and satisfying as you remember, except on top of that, they unrecessed Chrono Trigger's genes, and for lack of a better word, fused its combo mechanics into the battle system. So that's why,